Simon & Schuster Australia presents The Strong Man, written by Grant Edwards, narrated by Grant Edwards and Steve Shanahan. Forward. Andrew Colvin, APM, OAM. Strength, courage and resilience come in many forms. Sometimes these things are obvious, and other times they can pass by almost unnoticed. It would be all too easy to see my colleague Grant Edwards only as the strong man. It would be forgivable because to meet Grant you can't help but be captured by his size, strength and imposing figure. Here is a man whose reputation and physical presence announce him to an audience even before he enters the room. But that is not the Grant Edwards I know. I know a Grant whose courage and strength is not in his incredible sporting prowess, his amazing physical strength, or even his long, varied and very successful policing career. The Grant I have come to know has courage and strength beyond what most can see, and he lays it bare for everyone to see in this compelling and very personal story. I first met Grant shortly after I joined the Australian Federal Police. Met is probably an understatement, as Grant was one of the most imposing human beings I'd ever laid eyes on. I fondly recall going to the Royal Easter Show at the old Sydney Showground and watching Grant take on other man mountains as part of a World's Strongest Man display. As a young cop, I remember thinking how good it was to see him, and that I was just like him. Well, of course I wasn't. My entire 20-year-old body could nearly fit into one of Grant's imposing thighs or arms, but he was an AFP officer, and so was I. I was proud that he was representing the organisation and the profession I had joined, and wherever Grant competed, I always paid attention, and he always made us proud. Over the years that followed, Grant took his strongman achievements to a whole new level, pulling planes, trucks, trains and ships, and at his peak he was recognised by Guinness World Records as the strongest man in the world. Despite those superhuman efforts, Grant's story had a darker side, which he kept secret until much later in his career. He had just been offered the highly sought-after role of AFP Commander for the Americas. It should have been a career-defining moment and a justified reward for years of incredible service, but at that time Grant's life was unravelling, and like many sufferers of PTSD, he had largely been suffering in silence. Grant decided to open up for the first time, sharing his struggles with a handful of trusted colleagues, myself included. What followed was an emotional roller coaster.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?